What's going on today, guys? I'm your host for your beats for BassGorilla.com, and today I'll be telling you guys about my favorite plugins. Let's get into it. These are all my favorite plugins that I'm using in the year 2020. Some of them have been around since 2014 or earlier. So I'm going to go through explaining my favorite plugins for production, mixing, and mastering. Alright, so the Korg collection. This is a great synth collection. It includes the Triton, the Wave Station, the M1, the Poly 6, the Mono Poly, a few other synths. My favorite one is the Korg Triton. It's got a lot of ethereal, deep, and unique sounds. The Wave Station is a great vector synth. It is very unique sounding from other synths. You should definitely check out a vector synth if you haven't. Alright, then I also like to use Serato Sample. It's a great sampler. What I really like about it is it auto warps to the appropriate BPM. So say your sample's at 70 and you want to work on a track at 80, it'll auto warp it to 80. It basically has all the features you can ask for in a sampler, like the ability to lock certain samples. Like say you like a sample but you want to randomize the rest of them, you can do that. Yeah, it basically has everything I'd want in a sampler, so it's been my go-to sampler ever since it came out. Next we got Contact. There's not much to say about it. It's a great sampler. Or I guess they call it a sample-based instrument. A lot of great libraries. I still use 808 Warfare sometimes, which is like from 2014, I believe. And Central Sax is one of the best saxophones I've ever heard. All right, Serum. The presets are terrible. The sound is clean. We all know and love it. It's Serum. My go-to for anything sound design-wise, if it's simple or complex, it doesn't really matter. I find Serum to be really intuitive, and it's also one of the cleanest synths out there. So it's just a great one to have in your arsenal. Okay, the Analog Lab 4. This one has a lot of great old sounds. If you're not a fan of modern synth sounds, then you should definitely check out this synth library. It's got a lot of old style synth sounds, like some stuff from the 80s and 70s. Still sound good today, but it's not, it's not modern. Alright, now these are plugins I like to use for mixing. This one's obvious here, FabFilter Pro-Q 3. It's just like how I feel about Serum. It's the cleanest EQ out there. It's basically the go-to because what better clean EQ is there? Exactly. It's got all the features you need, dynamic EQ, sidechain, so you can easily see what frequencies are clashing. You don't even have to listen for it anymore. Next up we got Trash 2 from iZotope. One of the best distortion plugins out there. The presets are amazing. You can really just cycle through them and find something creative to work with the sound you're working on usually. And if you want to take it a step further than that, you can tweak the settings and whatnot. I can see why they haven't really updated it since 2014 because, I mean, what's Trash 3 gonna have, right? If they don't make it better, it's gonna be a letdown, essentially. I can't wait for Trash 3 though. Man can dream, right? Alright, now Melodyne. Melodyne is the greatest tuning software out there. I'm pretty sure we can say that objectively and be correct. You can basically reharmonize anything to fit another song if you want. You can change individual notes or the entire melody of it. I've actually reharmonized whole songs to sample into other songs with Melodyne. So that means you can use it with samples, drums, bass, you can use it with everything. All right, next up we got Waves compressors. There's a list of them, so I just kind of included them all together. All right, so the CLA 76, the CLA 2A, and the CLA 3A. The CLA 76 is great for drums. Gives you the most powerful drums you can get out of a compressor pretty much. The CLA 2A is great for vocals, and the CLA 3A is great for pretty much everything. Bass, guitar, vocals. I mean, I shouldn't have to explain to you why these are great. Basically, they're based off of old hardware compressors. Can't really say I know of anything better to use. Actually, I have one for the vocals coming up in a little bit. All right, so next up we got iZotope RX7. This tool is great. Probably one of the most unique tools out of the bunch here. So first off, it's great for cleaning up dialogue or vocals, anything where there may be some sort of background noise. This plugin is great for. And a little secret here I can tell you guys, you can use iZotope RX7 to get acapellas from songs. I didn't tell you that. If someone did tell you that, you would use the music rebalance tool and you would leave the vocals up and everything else turned down if you wanted to extract an acapella from a song. Alright, now let's talk about a great vocal compressor. That'd be the Waves Butch Vig. This is my go-to vocal compressor. It's been used by Nirvana and many other large bands of great mixing engineers. I don't really care about what it's supposed to be for. I use it for my vocals a lot of the time. And I find it to be one of the compressors that I can actually put on the vocals and it makes the vocals sound better. Sometimes I'll put like a regular compressor on vocals and I'll test it out and I usually can't get it to sound better. It sounds worse if anything. So it's been my go-to for years at this point. As you can tell, there's a lot of Waves plugins in here. Speaking of which, we got Waves Smack Attack. One of my favorite transient shapers in existence. It's just really easy to use, it's really powerful. It's really all you can ask for a mixing plugin. You want it to be able to do the job well, and you want it to be able to do it easily. All right, then we got Waves NS1. This is a competitor to RX7, but only for denoising. It doesn't really do anything else. What I like about this one though is it's just one fader that you control for denoising. Very simple, very powerful. There's gonna be a little bit of some repeats here. Actually just one, that'll be FabFilter Pro-Q 3. This one's great for mastering as well, just because it's so transparent and it's got so many controls. Next up, we got Nebula 3. Now this one's a secret weapon here. I don't think I've really brought this up to anyone really. So Nebula 3 is a great hardware emulation software. Essentially, they take the sound out of old hardware, compressors, EQs, or whatever, mastering boards, and then they create an algorithm for it to apply the sound. You can use it for analog EQs, analog compressors. Next up, we got Ozone 9. Great general set of mastering tools. I specifically like the imager, the exciter. The maximizer is pretty good too. I would say my go-to to use out of the bunch is probably the maximizer, just because you can get a lot of loudness out of it. All right, and that's it for my production, mixing, and mastering VSTs that I like to use. If you guys know some great VSTs that you use, let me know down in the comments. I'm curious to hear what there is out there that I'm not using that you think is great. This is Weaver Beats for BassGorilla.com. Make sure to check me out on Twitter if you haven't, and check me out on my own YouTube channel at Weaver Beats. I'll see you guys in the next lesson.